spook easily stung.
Have you ever explored the depths of fear? Have you ever wondered what depravity dwells within the imagination of a storyteller that prompts them to exhume horrors untold and expose those horrors to unsuspecting audiences? Some are repulsed, and some are shaken. However, there are those who are invigorated. So to those demented souls, we invite you to journey inward into the dark bowels of human imagination. Press play, and you will discover what's in the podcast.
Howdy, folks. You like blood, violence, freaks of nature?
What's that? It's a hitchhiker.
What, should we stop?
We can't leave her out here in the rain.
You know anything about the legend of Dr. Satan?
Yeah, I can show you.
Dr. Satan! Ah, Dr. Satan!
Well, I bet you'd stick your head in the fire if I told you could see hell.
You seen this girl?
Yeah, they want to play Nancy Drew with this local legend that people call Dr. Satan.
Stupid kids probably got themselves lost.
It's showtime!
Please don't kill us.
House of 1,000 Corpses.
You like what you see?
And welcome back to another edition of What's in the Podcast. This is the last week of Discomfort Flicks 2025. So, compared to last year, how do you feel this year went?
Fine.
I feel fine too.
Yeah.
No. For our last round, and very perfectly, conveniently, neighboring Halloween, because this is actually a Halloween film, but also the debut, the feature film directorial debut of one of the most divisive auteurs in horror history, Rob Zombie, House of 1,000 Corpses. Yep, it came out in 2003, and I suppose to where to start, how do you feel about Rob Zombie, at least when he was prominent? Like, what?
I wasn't interested. I mean, I liked him as a musician.
Well, that's what I mean, like as a musician.
Oh yeah, no, I loved him as a musician. When it came to his films, at the time I was like, that's not my style, that's not my thing. Cool, I'm glad it exists, but I wasn't like watching his films. They were just a little too brutal for me. That was before I was like willing to give them a shot, or at least watch some of them. I mean, they're definitely a certain flavor.
Yeah.
But I liked his music, like hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, yeah. He started off with the band White Zombie, which real hardcore. That was the first indicator that this guy was a hardcore horror fanatic, because White Zombie, of course, was named after the film, but with Bela Lugosi, that was a play on pretty much one of the few films that actually got voodoo correct, and not only that, portrayed zombies correctly, or at least at that time.
More
accurate zombies. I mean, I'd say Serpent in the Rainbow is a much better portrayal of that. But yeah, the major thing that was always like the leitmotif throughout all of his music was horror. I mean, of course, his video for Living Dead Girl was a full play on Dr. Caligari. Yeah, and of course featured the woman who would then become his wife, Sherry Moon, who is now Sherry Moon Zombie. So this was his first film, and it had a bit of a rocky start when it came out. This is one that it was originally going to be a studio film. It was going to be released through Universal, but when Universal saw the dailies, they got scared by this sucker.
Well, I mean, it's a standard issue. Like, studios don't get what they're going for, what they're trying, and this was also beginning of the O's was a little weird time in horror. Like, they say the 90s was weird. I'm like, no, the early O's, because you're bouncing off of the height of the Scream era, where studios were trying to pump out Scream-like movies, and you were kind of in this spot, and I think it came out before Saw.
Yes, it did, actually, one year before Saw.
Right, so it was in that time where horror just didn't know what direction it was going to go into. And this was very much into full-on exploitation. This was 100% exploitation, craziness, whatnot. And that's fine, but it was at a time when, like, studios had no idea what to do.
Yeah, I think the best term that described Rob Zombie was kind of psychobilly. That was kind of like how his music was kind of described, and that was kind of the attitude that he always brought to the table. So there was definitely a heavy slant towards hardcore exploitation filmmaking, which I know that he wanted to kind of bring back to horror because, yeah, you're right. Around the late 90s, that's when Scream was kicking off this.
And that was in 1996. Like, we always say, oh, the post-Scream era. That only lasted a few years. By the early O's, horror was just, they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
It was very much,
there was a meta kick that kind of, and not only that, all those films that were trying to coattail off of Scream were very polished and very sleek and had sexy casts. Usually, they had like, bigger budgets.
They had bigger budgets, sexier casts, always. It's this thing where if something does well, it gets hammered to death. Like Scream was wonderful. Love that movie. But a lot of what the fallout from what that was not so great. And especially because this was also post 9/11.
Yeah.
And shit got weird after that. Like, all of a sudden, any kind of horror, even if it was fantasy horror, was like frowned upon. So everyone clutched their pearls like you would not believe. Like, I have to eye roll some people who are like, oh, so snowflakes or whatever. Bro, post 9/11, like, Halloween Horror Nights had to, like, cancel its character, which had nothing to do with anything that happened in 9/11 at all. It was a fantasy character because people were so upset by it. Like, horror was not in a good place, like, as a genre after 9/11.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I look back going, I don't understand why, but that's besides the point. It just, society was like, no, horror, no go, especially in exploitation, extreme violence, dark ending, that was just not going to be seen as a general thing. Because studio heads are also, I think, very detached from reality. Minus maybe a few actually know where it can be worth something, but I would say Blumhouse is probably the only one who's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah,
and even then, well, I will say recently they've been kind of tripping up a couple times.
The thing is, they throw the spaghetti at the wall. They give anyone a chance. Is it good? Probably not. You don't know, but they're the ones who gave people chances. They do give you chances. Whether you get a budget, that's the question. But they do I'll give them credit. They give you chances.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, like, not everything will be good. But.
Yeah, in the case of House of 1,000 Corpses, though, they did give Rob Zombie a chance because in the beginning the studio gave him a chance because Rob Zombie also directed his own music videos and got a lot of acclaim for it.
And directors of music videos, David Fincher.
Russell Mulcahy. Michael Bay did do music videos.
So that's always a good...
Ridley Scott even did music videos.
Yeah, so like that's always a good... And also music videos, especially in the 90s, that was like an art form. Yeah. So it was very blatantly... and I believe the genesis of House of 1,000 Corpses came because of a short film that he kind of made that was just kind of like a little tease of something, just kind of Rob Zombie just fucking around. But it ended up generating some interest from his fans. Because everyone always said his videos are great, so why doesn't he actually do his own horror movie? Well, and I think around that time, I think his label was associated with Universal, and so of course he was a hot commodity at that time. So they said, well, let's give you. I think they gave him like $10 million. Let's go ahead and let you make a movie. And he had a critique about the fact that horror has become a little too polished, a little too clean. So he wanted to kind of bring horror back to the horror that he loved, the days of exploitation, the days of raw, visceral, nasty kind of horror that makes people uncomfortable. And with it came House of 1,000 Corpses. And this film, I remember it was such a trial to get when I think it was the first cut was released, Universal freaked the fuck out. They did not know what to do with this film. They did not know how to market it. They did not know how to... So they shelved it for the longest time, and they were going to take out a loss on it. I don't think that the movie was going to see the light of day, but Rob Zombie shopped it around. And Lionsgate, I have a love-hate relationship with that studio because sometimes they do right by their franchise, but sometimes they just fuck with it like mercilessly. Yeah, I mean you could say that about a lot of studios, or they're so good, and then they do stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's like also who's in charge at the time.
Exactly.
Like they'll be doing a great job, and then they fire that person and bring in an idiot.
Yeah.
And
precisely. I mean, yeah, Lionsgate are the ones behind Twilight, aren't they? I think.
No, that was Summit.
Oh, Summit. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
That's
okay.
Summit. I don't know what else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a different beast. Yeah, but I do know. But I mean, Lionsgate, the way they mishandled the Saw franchise a bunch of times, that you could write whole books around that. But they plucked up House of Thousand Corpses, and they actually, funny enough, knew exactly how to market it, and they knew how to send it out. So even though it wasn't a massive box office hit, because of course it didn't have a wide release, the demand, because of all the press surrounding the fact that the movie got shelved, a lot of horror fans were like, oh my god, it's the movie that they don't want us to see. And
you say something is like bad or you shouldn't see it, people want to see it, especially a horror film.
Oh yeah, especially horror film, when people find out that's all screwed up.
I mean, I'm and I think it's great. Like Terrifier 2 and 3, like the stories about people like that. I'm sure people wanted to see it anyway. But the second one, I mean, like people knew about the first, but it hadn't have. It was the word of mouth that got people in their seats, or
baby.
oh man, these moms got pissed with their kids, or this person threw up when they saw it. Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the thing about House of Thousand Corpses, like the advanced people who saw it. Well, there were people saying like, "Oh, this is a horrible movie. It's terrible. It makes no, and all that."
It makes no sense. Yeah, it does, but.
And I saw
Is it crazy? Yes.
Yeah, and I was working at Blockbuster when the movie finally came out on DVD, and I saw the trailer, and I will say I was timid to go into this movie because even I had never seen anything like it. So but at the same time, it was kind of that thing where I have to know what this movie's doing.
And the funny thing is nowadays it's like it's not all right, but like it's not nearly what like. It fell when I finally saw it. It fell into the trap of I've heard so horrible it is and everything.
Yeah.
And then you see it and you're like, what's so wrong? What's wrong with it? Like Silence of the Lambs, Natural Born Killers,
Exorcist, I think.
Exorcist, yeah. Like all these movies are so horrible, and I saw them. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what was so bad about it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even violence-wise, I was like.
Yeah, especially now.
It's not really that bad. Like, there's some gross stuff, but like I always say it falls under the over the top. I'm not bothered by it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not. I have to use the movie is the best example. Hostel. It's not Hostel.
Oh,
by any means.
This is nowhere. That's funny.
It's not.
Yeah, Hostel, I'd say, is actually way more
yes.
intense and more hardcore than.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, is it depraved? Yes. Are the characters likable? They're entertaining. I wouldn't say likable. I don't like any of them, but they're entertaining as fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, so entertaining that the characters that Rob Zombie knew everyone would love the most they
had multiple movies after
multiple
that.
Movies afterwards. So yeah, this is the first movie of the Firefly trilogy, as it's called, followed up by Devil's Rejects and Three from Hell. And
I mean, you could argue it's kind of got the vibes of Texas Chainsaw, except kind of reversing the order, where you get the tone of Texas Chainsaw 2 first, then you go to the first one, and then you kind of go into the third one, maybe, sort of.
Kind of. I mean,
Three from Hell, I have not.
Three from Hell.
I haven't.
Three from Hell's the one that kind of goes even further into road trip exploitation. I mean, it's a lot easier to watch than Devil's Rejects. Mm-hmm. Devil's Rejects, objectively, just in terms of filmmaking, in terms of like how well it's made, it's the best of the Firefly family trilogy. But if you're going to ask me which is the one that I am the most entertained by, the one that I will watch at a drop of a hat just because of how much fucking fun it is, it's this movie.
Yeah, this one's is fun.
Yeah, we even went to go when they even brought it out for a screening. I think for the 20th anniversary, we actually went to go see it in the theater.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
I have no memory.
Yeah, and actually, our friend Keenan, who we tried to get to come on this podcast, was actually sitting next to us.
Oh wait, we did. Yes.
Yeah, we did.
I forgot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of we've seen this movie that we never saw in the theater many times. So I remember because I forgot what happened. Like someone hadn't seen it but was in the theater.
Oh yeah, we were intending to go with our friends JD and Erica.
Right, and
but they got COVID.
Right, okay,
they ended up getting COVID, so they couldn't go.
remember some of these
but
things.
Then, just by wonderful coincidence, our friend Keenan happened to be sitting right next to us.
Yeah.
So, Keenan, who
see.
you might remember from The Hitcher, who we tried to court him to come back because he loves Rob Zombie. And in fact, go to my YouTube channel, Narcotic Casserole, go to our show Deep Cuts, where me and him did a whole Maestros of Mayhem paying tribute to Rob Zombie, because he is a uber Rob Zombie stan. He loves everything about Rob Zombie, everything. And I very much am entertained by his work. I think both you and I agree. I think his best movie is actually Lords of Salem.
I liked Lords of Salem just because it felt more like a personal film. I know the nightmare he had making it because he had like no budget whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Which you couldn't tell just because that film is gorgeous.
I think it's really good. Honestly, and this is horrible, but it's just because it was so... You could feel the love and the fun in it. I really loved his Monsters movie.
I agree.
I freaking loved it. It was spoopy, Halloween-y fun.
Sweet. It was...
Loved the casting. And it was... I laughed. It was fun. And I'm not a really Monsters fan. I'm on the Addams Family.
People,
like,
yeah.
Monsters were cute, and I watched them as a kid. But I kind of sided to the Addams Family a little bit more with the macabre, but not cartoonish nature. The movie was fun. Colorful. I liked the idea of, we're seeing the beginning of it, because I don't think that was ever addressed.
And
it's
Daniel
something
Roebuck.
different.
Holy shit, Daniel
stole
Roebuck
the show every 5 seconds.
Daniel Roebuck with Sylvester McCoy, the Seventh Doctor, as his like little lackey. But
the thing is, totally, it was so different than his other films, and you could kind of feel like that nostalgic kid, like the little inner kid coming out to make his movie, and I kind of love that. I do. This is definitely I like Lords of Salem. I would still say this one's it's more fun. Like
this
Lords
is
of
the
Salem
one we can
is
rewatch.
more. Yeah, this is probably the one I rewatched the most, just because. I don't know. It's the performances. It's like you know they're having a rough time making the movie, but you couldn't tell because everyone looked like they were having a blast.
Yeah,
at least on screen.
I mean, this is like kind of the start of his very loyal kind of smorgasbord of actors who frequently came back to his peeps. I mean, controversially, like everyone always makes jokes now, like whenever Rob Zombie makes movies, like, where's Sherry gonna be? You know,
why not?
And I say, why not?
I like her.
She's good.
I'll say she doesn't play the same character. Like Baby is nothing like her character from Lords of Salem. Nothing like I'm like, if you work well together.
And I'm sorry, she was a badass in 31. I don't care. She was actually made for.
I like her, so I don't see where y'all bitching. And you know what? It's always if it's the woman they're dating or married to now, you know, you complain, but then when it's a guy like friend or anything, and they keep recasting them multiple times, or that's not okay.
Yeah, no one seems to give no one shit for casting the same actors. Like,
you're not complaining about all the male actors that he keeps recasting, which I'm like, you work well together. Shoot, what's the problem? Is it just because they're together? Like, also, I think he said that like she's his muse and he inspired. You know, okay. I'm not complaining.
And it's like there's not a single time in any of the movies I've seen her in where she's playing a role that's out of her range. I mean, it's like every single role I've seen her play. Funny enough, the reason why I liked her in The Munsters was the fact that I actually really was seeing her test her range, and she honestly was, to me, was unrecognizable. I also don't think
Lily Munsters I don't remember her being like some kind of distinct personality that you like have to replicate. Honestly, you could just play the character, and I actually liked her playing a character that's nothing like the others, because she wasn't, and that was good.
And for better or worse, no matter how any naysayer is going to say, in the end, this movie, and by extension the two other, made her a horror icon with the character of Baby Firefly. Right here, she came in. I mean, a lot of people have actually called Baby like the Harley Quinn of the horror scene.
I could say that, and I will also argue is good casting, and also in the futures, because Sid Haig, and Bill Moseley have amazing chemistry.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, and it carries through. I mean, we lost Sid Haig unfortunately for Three from Hell, but it carries through into the later films. So like, it all started here.
Yeah,
and it's really good.
And this is actually another important aspect of House of a Thousand Corpses, which to me I think is vital. This movie brought back Sid Haig and Bill Moseley. I mean, around that point, Bill Moseley had his career kind of just
was kind of, I don't want to say it was on fumes, it was just kind of like in the background. And Sid Haig was someone who was very prominent in the 60s and 70s doing exploitation films, famously did the wonderful film Spider Baby. Funny enough, we watched him in an MST3K episode recently, Beyond Atlantis, in the last season. But
also, was it Galaxy of Terror?
Right, Galaxy of Terror. He was in that, one of Roger Corman's. So, but Rob Zombie, he wanted to, and a lot of times studios will acquiesce to a director's casting if it's for the sake of keeping the budget down, and they were willing to let him cast whoever he wanted because it meant they would keep the budget down. And Rob Zombie, being the lover of horror as he was, immediately sought out Bill Moseley and Sid Haig to be in this movie, and that was and not just them. They brought in Karen Black, who she herself is a freaking horror icon and legend in and of itself, and she brought her own little flavor to the whole thing as well as Mama Firefly. So, but should we do the synopsis?
Go for it.
Oh, okay, we're throwing it on me. Okay, so the film it takes place on Halloween night, and a quartet of two couples are running the roads, basically doing research for a book on roadside attractions. Well, they end up happening upon Captain Spaulding's Murder Emporium. Captain Spaulding, of course, played by Sid Haig. He generates their interest in a serial killer named Dr. Satan, who is like the unsung but yet highly prolific serial killer and they say, well, his house is like all the way down there. I can draw you a map to get there. Well, they go there, and as these things go, they got a flat tire and...
Oh, no, it was the tree he was buried under, supposedly.
Oh, the tree he was buried under, right.
And, as this happens, they pick up a hitchhiker who's like, oh, my house is not far from here, because they get a flat tire. And she's like, my house is nearby. And, of course, it's go to the house, the creepy house, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, their tire goes flat, and this is one thing I gotta say I loved about the intro to Baby and just the entire family is like, with the flat tire, and you're thinking like as soon as they get in, shit's immediately going to go bad, but the movie lets it linger. Like, you don't know when shit's going to get bad.
I mean, shit's going to be, because as the viewer, you're privy to a lot more information than the people. Like, when you're like, don't go in that house, already don't go in the house. It's not like you're finding out with the characters. You already know shit's going to suck.
Exactly, and I think it's because I think the movie does a great job playing with our knowledge of the inevitability. We're just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah,
and
you're just waiting for help. But also, I would say is minus maybe the main final girl. Minus her, the other characters are not that likable. So they give you that. All right, I don't give a shit.
I mean, it helps
that
the two guys are played by some of the most hateable men in show business right now.
Well, one because of a character he plays, the other one because he's a dick.
Yeah,
but.
Well, the other one because he's a Trumper. So.
Oh, he's a...
Rainn Wilson's a Trumper.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. He looks like one.
Fair.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, two unlikable.
Yeah.
It's easy to just go, I don't care what happens to you.
Oh, no. One gets turned into a fish and another one gets, like, brutally, like, ripped apart by Dr. Satan. So it's like...
Yay!
Yeah. So... bonus all around.
Yeah, that's great to see.
But even then, the cool thing is, and because these characters actually, and it's a benefit that these characters are unlikable because many times throughout the course, it's actually a good 20 minutes before anything really like horrifying happens. But you always wonder, like, what is it they're going to do to push these people over the edge that's going to get their asses killed? But it drags out all the way to your car is fixed. And okay, they got in the car. Okay, things seem to be fine.
Never mind. Like
right when they get to the gate,
they're toying with them the whole time. And the thing is this is not toying like Texas Chainsaw toying. This is like full blown. They are having a blast messing with these people.
Yeah.
I mean, also like, there's a sleight of hand where you're introduced to Captain Spaulding at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So you think this guy's going to be the big bad or the big problem, but he's.
Yeah.
Not, but you're like, okay, but he's definitely in on it because he sent them in that direction.
Yeah.
And he's out for the rest of the movie for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, he's not there, even though he's, like, so entertaining.
Oh my god, the cold open before
the cold open is amazing.
I think we quote that a couple times. We go, fuck your mama!
What? Fuck your mama! 2. Fuck your sister. 3. Fuck your grandma.
Well, fuck you.
And then was he like, oh shit, I got blood
On my clown shoes.
like because he's being held up, and he
Yeah.
knows who they are because he recognizes them, but like he's just not afraid.
Oh, not at all.
He has no fear because he is. I mean, this is when you find out what kind of person he is deep down. You're like, no wonder you're not afraid of anything. But it's just how he responds to somebody holding a gun to his face, and he's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and there's such a raw energy in that opening that perfectly sets the tone for the entire movie to me.
It also kind of shows that the Firefly family, that's an alliteration right there. They know things. They're not. You could think they're stupid, but they're not. They're actually really smart.
Oh yeah.
They know how to read the room and fuck with people to mess with their heads. Like on top of killing people. They know shit. They aren't stupid.
Oh yeah.
Even though you would think they are. Like I will say that's the one difference with like Texas Chainsaw the Sawyers, and I say the Sawyers because I'm just going to go with the main family, not whatever
the hell is going on after 2.
Yeah, I have no idea. Is that they weren't the smartest. They weren't the brightest crayons in the box. Like even Drayton, I don't think he was all that smart. Like they were not intelligent. They kind of were lucky that things went their way most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
As the Fireflies, I feel like are actually intelligent and they do strategize much more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's a nice calculating feel, especially to Otis, played by Bill Moseley. He's the one who, the second he arrives on the scene, the whole tone of because prior to it there was like flirtations with Baby and Rainn Wilson. Yeah, they're actually kind of lulling them into a sense of security. Like, yeah, they're weird, but they don't seem like.
Yeah, they're just a weird family, but nothing.
Yeah, but Otis steps into the room.
Yeah, the second he shows up, you're like, this is not good.
Yeah, there's like, and you think all this shit's gonna hit with him, and even then, they're surrounded by a lot of other oddball characters. I mean, you got, of course, this giant Tiny.
Tiny's sweet.
Tiny's actually very
He's
sweet.
actually one of the members that is like actually genuinely sweet.
Yeah, this big old silent giant who's just
yeah.
But Otis is the one who, funny enough, he's actually the most normal of the rest of the Firefly family, but he's the one who you actually think is going to start the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, the second they pull up to that gate and the gate's locked and then just all hell breaks, that's when things, to me, I think that's when the movie just immediately says, no, you're in our clutches. And the rest of the movie, a lot of the movie is spent pretty much torturing the hell out of these people throughout, for the rest of the run. And
you also find out, like, other people are caught up in it. The lead's father gets pulled in on it. Mm-hmm. The cops can't do jack shit with Walter Goggins showing up.
Yeah, Tom Tolles from Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, and Walton Goggins, a very early. Way before he was I remember seeing Walton Goggins in this, and I was like going, and he just kept popping up and stuff.
He was just that guy who always showed up, but you always remembered him.
Yeah.
Even if he played like a small part, you always remembered him. So I'm happy that like people are
people
finally
love
appreciating him
now.
I still haven't seen that Fallout show, but I heard he's like the best part.
Yeah, I heard he's great. Well, he came into prominence, like he really came into public eye from the show Justified. They did with Timothy Oliphant. That's where he really got his attention, and then he just started popping up. I mean, he was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh yeah.
Afterwards,
I was like, oh, he's back. I like this guy.
But he had actually one of my favorite kills. Actually, let's talk about the art of the gun death in horror. I mean, because commonly we always talk about knife or axe kills being much more.
Guns are very. I mean, like it's almost like kind of disappointing. Like, I hate to say it, but like when Art the Clown pulls out a gun and shoots someone, you're like, oh, okay.
Well, that's why it was funny. Because
it's funny because he put so much effort into a kill that god.
That there's all of a sudden.
It's like meh.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always feel like he pulls out the guns when he's over this shit. He's
we got time.
Yeah, and the time he did in the first Terrifier was like, no, I'm over this shit. Okay.
Right, but it's not as interesting.
Yeah, but the reason why I bring this up, because it's hard to do a gun death in a horror film and make it like really startling and really effective. But there are 2 gun deaths in this movie and it's of the 2 cops, of Tom Tolles and of Walton Goggins. I mean, there's one that just comes right out of nowhere, and then the other one, which does such a masterful exercise in just the tease of just the inevitable, because what happens is that it's this whole unfolding of chaos set to Slim Whitman. Karen Black just pulls out a gun that she was hiding right in, and she's having like a nice conversation with the sheriff. It seems all nice, but then he hears Walter Goggins screaming out there. While he's like distracted, she immediately pulls the gun out, shoots him. But then you get this great bit where Otis has Walter Goggins on his knees. Camera pulls out to this awesome crane shot, and it just lingers. It's like the audience knows that there is no salvation here, but they just let it linger, and then just blam. And it's still one of my favorites, just because I think a lot of it's because Rob Zombie knows his audience. He knows what we are expecting, and he plays with that anticipation to make the scene more effective.
I mean, that's the only way you can really use a gun death well, is either surprise you with it, where they just all of a sudden pull one out and shoot, and you're like, whoa, what the hell, or you do the lingering psychological death of torturing the person psychologically before letting it go. Which this movie has both.
Yeah.
I mean, also Mama Firefly, like Otis, big old red flag. We know at that point baby is bad news. Tiny, not a problem. What was the grandpa or their uncle?
Yeah, I think he was going grandpa.
Grandpa, like he's just weird. Mama Firefly though wasn't kind of like, she was pushy but not a killer. She wasn't giving off vibe. What was he?
Well, Grandpa Hugo?
Okay, he's Grandpa.
Yeah, he's Grandpa Hugo.
Grandpa.
Yeah, he was...
He's just a knowing old man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Mama Firefly, like, you didn't think she would just be a killer, but she literally just pulls it out and shoots instantly, and you're like, oh, well, okay, I can see why she's the mom of this family.
Oh, yeah, the whole family just is pretty damn nasty. I mean, but the thing I gotta give, one thing I do love about in horror, I love a good family of killers, is... It's always funny seeing how functional they are together.
Oh no, that's always the funny part, is when the family's actually functional as a family unit. They're just all sociopaths.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about the Firefly family, is that they band together, they have a great time together, and they even have their own Halloween celebration, their own Halloween traditions, which does kind of a lead up to... In this one, now this is such a weird part of this movie, and the thing that I know... people kind of like are bewildered about this movie is how far does this movie even veer into the realm of the supernatural? Because at the end of the movie they take Chris Hardwick and actually no, they intend to take the rest of them to the graveyard to bury them alive, but it turns out they're feeding them to Dr. Satan, who has like this big underground operating theater where he is like doing endless experiments.
He's just doing his thing down there.
Yeah,
because he can't physically do it on his own. He's not doing so good.
Yeah,
he's not doing so great physically.
Yeah, well, and and apparently the whole reason he's doing it is because he's obsessed with like body modification to like prolong life kind of thing. And actually, I wonder if that was this seemed like kind of a play on House by the Cemetery. Because that was kind of like the thing in the basement. That's kind of like what his whole thing was. So I'm wondering if that was kind of a tribute to that. But yeah, the whole movie just ends up, the whole like last 20 minutes of the movie is all about her in this underground hell, just trying to claw herself out of it.
It gets a little more fantastical. I wouldn't say supernatural though, because nothing about it is supernatural. There's no like spirits. There's no like demons or anything like that. It's mad scientist, but I never consider that's not fantasy really. It's just more science horror. But the tone changes. The tone's crazy to begin with, but we're working with a family that were just sociopaths, and then you get into this guy who's like literally almost a skeleton with like things attached to him, and he's killing people just because he's bored. And it gets a little more over the top, I'd say, but I would never say God's supernatural by any means.
Yeah, and since we're talking about shifting tones, I mean, let's talk about the movie on the whole and in the way it's cut together and the way it's edited. I mean, I know one thing that puts people off to this movie is just the presentation. It almost feels... I actually lovingly always describe this movie as a carnival ride to hell.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And like any carnival ride, it's like your attention goes all over the place because there's so much shit to see, like in all directions. So the movie has like a lot of these interludes, like in between scenes, like when they transition, where he does like a lot of like grindhouse movie bumpers and stuff like that. They use this to transition into the next scene, and a lot of times the energy just changes on a dime. Sometimes it becomes frantic and crazy. But then a lot of times it becomes, as previously mentioned with the cop killing scene, very slow and lingering and.
I don't know. I feel like it has like a music. It makes me think of a music video, which makes sense.
Because the first time director of it.
Yeah, it makes
first time
sense. It made me think of a music video. Like a lot of the color palettes were very similar to Rob Zombie's own music videos, and even when it had slower moments, I felt like those were more the lulls, like to give you the break. So it's not just chaos or crazy all the time. Like I don't mind it. Like it could be off-putting, I guess, for some people. I didn't mind it personally.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw this, I had just never seen anything like this, so I was just really, I was entranced by it, because admittedly I had not watched a lot of Rob Zombie. I'd heard his music like crazy, but I'd never seen any of his videos.
Oh, I saw his videos. They were always on the MTV in the late 90s.
Yeah, I think around the time my family finally did cave and get like satellite TV, MTV stopped doing music videos. Oh. Around that time.
Oh,
so.
Yes. Yeah, that music that no longer exists.
Yeah, the M and MTV. At this point, it's just TV.
Yeah, no, I had my family's always had cable, and when I had my own TV in my bedroom when I was a teenager, VH1 or MTV. Like MTV was where I wanted to see more hard rock and like rap music videos and whatnot. VH1 was more like the top 40 kind of average
pop-up video.
Oh, I always love
pop-up
Pop-up
video.
video is freaking hilarious. I love it when they give you the random,
yeah,
not even important information,
they
but like
great,
it's just fun. But MTV was where I would get the better music videos, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they also would like not constantly circle the same videos that VH1 always did.
Oh dear God, yeah.
But I remember Dragula was the first video I ever saw, and I was like, "This is fucking amazing."
Yeah, Dragula's a cool fucking.
It's a good video.
Well, now we have new reason to love it because it was used to great effect in Twisted Metal recently.
Oh, that was the best. I'm like, there's no other song you should have used.
Well, the best thing about it, the legacy of Rob Zombie, I mean, around that time, he was such an icon that a lot of, like, horror anything, if there was a game that was horror, so many times they would license Rob Zombie stuff, but Twisted Metal 3 used Meet the Creeper, and
Twisted Metal 4 had him in it.
Yeah, 4 actually had Rob Zombie in it.
Him in it, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember distinctly when that happened.
Yeah, and the first level of Twisted Metal 4, is they're playing a remix of Dragula in there. So that was like the best part of it. But yeah, recently for season 2 of Twisted Metal, man, they kick off the tournament.
The tournament begins, man. That song starts playing. You're like, I'm in.
Oh man, I wish you could have been in the room with me when I first saw that episode.
Yeah, I was like, where the hell was I? I was not.
You were at you were at Animate.
Oh yeah.
You were at Animate.
And you texted me going, oh my God, and I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like it was just magical, but that's the lasting impact of Rob Zombie, man. It's just like for better or worse, despite for anyone who even tries to like say like, oh, this guy he's not that good, it's like going, this guy, and this is what I've said about any auteur filmmaker, like truly to me the visionary filmmakers.
His own genre.
Exactly.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, he's got his own genre.
Yeah. Always I say like a good filmmaker is his work is like a fingerprint. It's like if you look at a frame of film. And if you could say like that's Rob, that's that filmmaker, and I'm like with Rob Zombie, I think that's part of the reason why I like The Monsters, because that's actually the one that I go like, wow, that actually does not feel at all like a Rob Zombie movie.
It didn't. I mean, like all of his staples were not in it. I mean when I say staples, I mean like aesthetics and so. Except he always knew how to line up a great shot.
That is true.
So that got a lot of play in The Monsters. So. I felt like he was editing back some other aspects, like the swearing, the violence, and the hillbilly aspect, because obviously that does not work.
Yeah,
obviously. But he does know how to make a good shot. He always has and always will. You can see that in any of his films. And that got more play, which I actually appreciated. Like, yes, the set, like he knows how to set up a shot, like absolutely.
Yeah, and even with him, the thing I got to give to him is that he never ever, even with like the staples of his styles, like we know, I always get the vibe that he's always experimenting and always trying different techniques with every single movie he makes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know you're probably noticing that we're not actually mentioning his Halloween films because frankly we're going to talk about that when we do the commentaries down the line. But I mean, 31 is nothing like Lords of Salem, and Devil's Rejects. I remember when I saw Devil's Rejects, and I actually went to go see it in the theater because I enjoyed House of a Thousand Corpses so much, and actually I was delighted to see that a sequel was coming. So I went to go see that, and I was like, this is nothing like...
No, he definitely knows how to do different types of... It's still his film, but he can do different styles within his own genre, which I think is freaking impressive.
Yeah, and I always feel like he makes a movie with the intention to kind of challenge himself in terms of like doing something new with his aesthetics, with his just the way he... And I've talked to actors who've worked with... I actually met Sid Haig at like my second con ever, a MegaCon, like long time ago, 2004, 2003, something like that. And Sid was a sweet man, just wonderful person, and nothing but praise for working with Rob. And recently, Dee Wallace. Dee Wallace has been in multiple Rob Zombie films, and she just adores working with this guy. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. A lot of times, when you see the same actors that you see in a filmmaker's films like multiple times, a lot of it is about the fact that they just like working with the person. They get them. You know, so that's the same thing with Christopher Nolan. I mean, people flock to him because they love working with him. So it's like that's a lot of times from a director standpoint.
Well, also these directors know what they want, what to do, and they also know who's reliable, who can work with. I mean, you want to work with people you want to work with people you like and that like you, and it's like that makes sense. I mean, can it get like, okay, there's, you know, but they always bring in new people. Yeah, new people always, and honestly, they start funneling them around. And I mean, Nolan, you know, and has brought, like, even in the, I actually saw an interview. It was actually really funny. It was Cillian Murphy he's not in the Odyssey, and he said actually it's kind of nice to see a Nolan movie and not know anything about it. Yeah, like just to see it. And I mean, I could see that being like, yeah, I'd like to not be part of working on this, you know, so I can actually see it like an audience. Mm-hmm. But I've never... that's a standard thing, and I just don't get why that would be a criticism at all, because so many directors have their favorites, or their... I mean, it's adorable when it's like a family member, like with Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, or James Gunn. James Gunn with Sean Gunn, No, it's cute when it's like, my brother... I have a job because my brother's directing another movie. Yay! You know, that's cute. But it's not... It's standard issue.
And honestly, every time Rob Zombie comes out with a movie, I'm always excited because I'm always intrigued to see about what other beloved horror icon is in the movie. Because, again, Dee Wallace, when he did the Halloween remake, she played Laurie Strode's mom. And honestly, one of the best things about his Halloween remake is that we actually get to see Laurie Strode's parents, and Dee Wallace brought like a level of warmth to it. But even funnier is that in 3 from Hell, Dee Wallace actually plays a pissed off guard at the prison who has a grudge out on babies. So it's really fun seeing Dee Wallace actually trying to be like a hardcore badass.
Yeah, giving her something else. So that's fun.
Or oh man, well, and of course he's working with Malcolm McDowell. I mean, in Lords of Salem, he had Patricia Quinn as one of the witches. Oh yeah. And Dee Wallace.
And Dee Wallace. No, that was another one.
As well. So, and that's just, to me, I think the only thing I'm waiting on Rob Zombie for, and since Thanksgiving did so well, and you've been waiting on it, I've been waiting on it, we are dying for Werewolf Women of the SS.
Nowadays, I don't know about that.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, we need to remember it's okay to laugh at Nazis.
Oh no, I'm totally cool with laughing at them and shooting them and all that good stuff.
But I think it's the only time I think we're going to allow a white actor playing an Asian character, because I gotta see Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. And Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu.
I wanted Cinnabar.
Cinnabar! To my liking! This is my vision!
Yeah, we'll let it slide. We'll let that slide. Not a fan of... I do not like Yellowface. We'll let that slide.
But Nicolas Cage is Fu Manchu. But
I remember that, because we were like, what? And it really was him. And we're like,
we were watching the trailer with Grindhouse, and it said, and Nicolas Cage as Fu... And his back's to the camera. It's like, no.
Yeah, we're like,
no.
Is it real?
No. And then turn around, it was.
That was... If I didn't love Nick Cage, that made me love him.
Exactly.
And I'm like, respect, sir. Respect.
Yeah. So this movie really did kind of kick off pretty much Rob Zombie pretty much created his own subgenre of horror, really, to himself, like the psychobilly movement of horror, and it started with this movie, which is sad because I just read he had a lot of regrets with this movie in terms of the way it was making. He considers this film a mess.
Well, I mean, it was his first film, and look at anything you've made. Like, if you took me back in time to the first costume I ever made, find a photo of that thing, I would cringe. And like back then, I thought it looked good. I thought it was fine, but now I'd be like, "Oh, what was I thinking?"
Yeah,
it's not that. But the thing is, the reality is probably not bad. But like, I see all my mistakes. I could have done that better. I did do that better. So once you've like seasoned yourself, looking back at your first one is probably not the. You're not gonna have the best opinion of it. I mean, I'm sure he appreciates people still loving it. I mean, I will say of all of his films, even the later ones, that's the one that has the most merch.
Yeah. Pretty much any with the Firefly family has like the most merch. I mean,
but especially cause but like especially from House of a Thousand Corpses, because I think Devil's Rejects did get like some action figures or whatever, like those McFarlane ones or whatever. House of a Thousand Corpses really kind of has a crazier aesthetic that is more prone for merch.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely the more visually striking. I mean, that's the one. And I also have just some great memories of it. Actually, one thing I wish physical media would get back into, like, is one thing they used to do back when DVDs were like really like at their peak. They used to have interactive menus on the DVD.
Oh yeah.
And House of a Thousand Corpses had a fucking doozy. One of the best, even though the DVD, unfortunately, because of all the things that happened with the movie, with the studio, the DVD wasn't allowed to really have a lot of good features. But the one thing it did have was an interactive menu, which takes place in Captain Spaulding's museum. Captain Spaulding actually comes out, and if you could just sit there and just watch him talk to you and nag you to get to pick something. God damn it! And he's just like sitting there for like a good couple minutes till the point where he's like going, "If you don't pick something right now, I'm gonna kick your damn ass." 3, 2. And actually like flips off the camera. It was just great, and I just sat there just watching him just be bored to shit and get irritated with me, kind of thing. But man, I wish DVDs would bring that back.
That was always a fun little thing. Was like the random stuff that would happen if you didn't pick something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that was the sad thing about the movie was that because actually now that I remember, I think another reason why Rob Zombie doesn't look back fondly on this is because I think actually Universal pulled the plug in this movie before he even finished it. So
yeah, he didn't. He finished it with like in his basement or something. Like
practically.
That's all the little insert stuff. That's why that even exists.
Yeah,
was because he was filling it in, and that's probably also why he doesn't feel positive about the film. Is not necessarily the film itself. It's just he sees that. He sees, whoa, I had to take a video of in the bathroom and then like shoot random shit just to throw it in there because I had to fill it out.
Yeah, but it's all stuff that is, to me, I think is part of the singular language of this film that just really freaking works. And the one thing I will give to him is that he totally acknowledged it, and he actually is very grateful for the cult success the film had. I think the thing I love that's kind of hilarious is how he threw shade at Universal. Because sometime later,
about 10 years plus,
something like that, Universal for Horror Nights actually did a house.
Well,
and
they did a Rob Zombie house first, and then they did a House of a Thousand Corpses house, and he's like, yeah, that's funny, that's ironic.
Yeah,
and also that was the year that Sid Haig passed away.
Yeah, we lost Sid.
We had an annual pass for Horror Nights, and we actually went in. I think it was the day after he had passed, and you enter in Captain Spaulding's shop, and Captain Spaulding's right there, and we all like saluted him, and he saluted back.
But we actually saw like people left roses and stuff like at the base in tribute to Sid. So and I will say that year that was one of my favorite houses. Like,
oh, it was such a good house.
I remember we were just like going, how are you gonna, because the editing and the visual language of that film was so like strictly for film. It's like, how are you gonna do that in a house form? But man, did they do it! Like so many times. Not just like the rooms themselves, like when you're actually in like their world, but then there are like little hallways that actually did have like the bumpers from like the transitions. They actually
they translated it very well, but I will give credit to Universal is when they want to translate a haunted house from a movie, they somehow can do it. They figure it out. I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish they would take more risks nowadays with their license. Like, I still maintain that they should do a fucking house for Nightbreed.
The IP houses tend to be like, that's for the vanilla. It seems from what I watch a lot of videos, that they're putting more effort actually into the original houses.
Which is great, because their originals are...
And the IP houses are more to get the people in who are fans of said IPs, and then it's the original houses that actually do the selling. Because, I mean, that's why, like, I've heard good things, but, like, some of the IPs they picked this year are very freaking weird. Some make sense.
Yeah, I heard of the IP house. I think the only one that's, like, really worth a damn this year is the Terrifier one.
The Terrifier was a legit house. The Friday Night at Freddy's, I've seen the videos. It's a cool house. It looks cool. That is it. It is not scary by any means. It's just very cool because of the animatronics. It's some of the others, I don't even know what the hell they were, like the wrestling one. I don't know.
Yeah,
and the Fallout one. Apparently, if you don't know the show, it's not scary, but you don't even get it.
Exactly.
I was just like, that's a weird choice, but I feel like that is to get the people who are not into horror, get them in.
Yeah.
It's like when they had Stranger Things. Like Stranger Things ain't horror. It has some scary moments.
It's absolutely horror. What are you talking?
It's vanilla horror. It's vanilla horror. It's vanilla. It's fucking vanilla, and it's to get the mundanes in because you compare that to some of those other houses, that's horror. I feel like it's 80s kid horror.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put it on the lower tier, but I will argue that it's there to get the mundanes in because that year, I think it was that year maybe. That was when they had Stranger Things, the 1 and 2.
No, that was the year they were doing. I think that was the year they started doing American Horror Story.
That might have been them.
Yeah, that was the year they were doing American Horror Story. Those houses. See, those houses
and they stopped doing those.
Yeah,
they stopped at 3.
Yeah, they did like the first 6 seasons.
Yeah, they did the first 6 seasons. They stopped after that, but which is a shame.
Which is a shame.
I was hoping for an Apocalypse one.
Apocalypse and a 1984 one.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, in 84.
But that being said, my argument is that they always pick something that is very vanilla horror or barely horror to bring in the average people to go to horror nights that are too scared to go into anything else.
Yeah,
like Five Nights at Freddy's, I think is horror. I mean, the game's terrifying.
Oh God, yeah.
But that was like a lucky shot. Like they were lucky to have that. That's why like Fallout. And they're like, well, the game kinda is. I'm like, the series isn't. It's like post-apocalyptic. Show. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know, but that's why it was so strange when they did the House with House of Corpses because of Universal's history with the movie.
It made sense though.
It made perfect sense.
Like for a house, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, and I think it was. I think that was the ultimate vindication of the movie that Universal, in their way, said mea culpa by really putting forth the effort to making a great fucking house devoted to this movie. So that's about I think what we say to wrap up. So top kill. There's a lot of them in this one.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm actually gonna go with the opening just because it's so entertaining. Not necessarily is the kill impressive, but it's a fun cold open to take it and takes out the good guys. I'll go with that.
Yeah. There's a lot of them to choose from, but the one I'd actually say was the most profoundly disturbing, like the one that actually, just because of how raw and visceral it is I'm terrible. I can't remember the main characters, our main characters' names, but the one girl who tries to run before they send him down into the grave, she runs, and then a baby chases her down and stabs her to death.
The other girl.
Yeah, and then juxtaposed with the cutaway of Otis screaming, "Run, rabbit, run!" That, again, I actually have a vivid memory when I first saw this movie, and again, I was like going, this movie is just fucking nasty, because it's so raw, but seeing that's a kill that I remember when we saw it in the theater. I was like, man, this is the one kill that actually kind of bums me out because of how unflinchingly, unashamedly brutal it is. And I was like, well, it just because of and not even because of the gore, just because
it's not really
because of the attitude of the scene.
Yeah, I just when that first one with Captain Spaulding is just it's entertaining as fuck.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like the others all kind of blend together where they're very similar. And I don't know. The fact that I had trouble remembering them all just kind of says something. It's like,
yeah, I mean, Rainn Wilson being turned to a fish boy is fun too.
You don't actually see that happen. It's one of those post-mortem things. Like it's a Hannibal trick of we don't know how he actually died technically.
Yeah, I just figured they vivisected him, they cut him in half, and then they just sewed on the.
Yeah, you see the result. You don't see how he got there.
Yeah, you see him. Yeah, you don't see him but you do see Chris Hardwick get scalped, which was also fun. But yeah, but that would be it. And then of course it leads up to the great twist at it feels like
it's
a
not
twist.
You kind of want to think it's a twist, but it's not. You kind of saw it coming. Like the second she gets in the car with Captain Spaulding, you're like, he's with them.
Well, there's one line that Otis says, like, where they go like, "Oh, that fucking guy," like acting like they hate Captain Spaulding.
Yeah, they make a reference that they don't like him, but that doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
really. So you kind of knew it was coming. You were kind of like, this guy's not. You already know he's not a good person, so you're kind of like, yeah, they know each other.
All right, so that was Discomfort Flicks 2025. Tell us what you loved about all the movies that we tackled this year. We will definitely plan our lineup for next year. A lot to choose from. We just have to actually sit down and think about them for a second. Yeah. So, but in the meantime, stay tuned because we do have our full-length commentary on Halloween 4 coming out Halloween Day. And for November, we do have I'm going to try to fill the time. We're definitely going to finish up our Legacies of Fear on Final Destination and just try to fill in with a couple other ones. No idea what. But then we will be getting into the holidays. And then, miraculously, we have survived this fucking year.
I don't think we're going to be... I'm already worried about 2026.
Already worried about that shit.
I'm like, how the fuck...
Hey, for right now, we're still alive. Jimmy Kimmel's back on the air. Charlie Kirk is dead. And there's artists are mocking Trump with a big-ass 12-foot statue of him and Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh,
that was pretty fucking...
And they're also making fun of him for the fact that he can't walk up an escalator when it stops.
Exactly. So, I was actually going back and listening to a lot of our podcasts earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. And I'm like... And we kept saying, it's a miracle the other podcast's still going to be around, but we're still here. So there might be a little glimmer of hope. So,
the internet never forgets.
Yeah.
That's all we can. If we can exist in the internet, we will lawnmower man this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's a good one for next year.
I haven't seen that movie forever.
I know. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We just picked one.
Maybe that. I don't know. I haven't seen that in forever. I can't really remember much about it. Except
Stephen King disowned it.
Well, it has nothing to do with it.
It has literally, I've read the original short story Lawnmower Man. It has, that movie has nothing to fucking do with it.
No, it's Flowers for Algernon, but worse. I mean, it is.
Oh, this is why I married you.
I had to pull that story out of my ass.
All right, everybody. Happy Halloween, and if you wish to delve into the dark bowels of human imagination, ask yourself the simple question, what's in the podcast?
Thank you for joining us on this edition of What's in the Podcast. If you find yourself hungry for more deep cuts into the gloriously morbid and macabre, you can also find us on TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Narcotic Casserole. You can also follow us on Instagram at Narcotic Casserole 25. Follow us if you dare.